Dave Filoni has apparently become the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm. So he's now going to work more directly with Kathleen Kennedy to oversee the next generation of Star Wars shows and movies. So he's now in a bigger role than he was. And with Dave Filoni, remember he's got a Star Wars project on the way, which is going to be the story that's going to focus on the New Republic and close out the interconnected stories that are told in Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and those other Disney Plus shows. So it's kind of bringing it for a crossover movie as well. And he's been very close with the Star Wars franchise for nearly a couple of decades now. The animated Star Wars Clone Wars thing, he was a big part of that, and all this Disney Plus era of Star Wars, he's been a very big part of that. And I think Lucasfilm was finally starting to understand how to do Star Wars a little bit better. So what do you make of now Dave Filoni, who's, I'm not going to say responsible for the rising of success with Star Wars, but a huge part of that, working closely with the next generation of Star Wars. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's good. We're finally going to have one person, let's just say he's the Kevin Feige, the showrunner, overseer. We're going to finally get like a clear vision, clear storytelling over Star Wars. The whole sequel trilogy was just a mess because it wasn't a clear vision. It was just an idea.
Palpatine?
No, not even going to take that bait.
But Jewel of the Fates, bro.
It'll be nice to have a clear vision on Star Wars. Because we had this discussion over the weekend that Star Wars is probably one of the top 5 pop culture things ever of all time. Yeah. But it doesn't really feel like that with the movies because it's just, you've said it before in previous podcasts that we've had more bad Star Wars films than good.
That's true.
Which is true. But I think Dave Filoni is really good. I mean, he worked on Mandalorian, Ahsoka. Book of Boba Fett was a bit meh, but I feel I can't remember what he did in that, if he directed all of them or just some of them. But if I had to pick the 2 episodes that he did. It'd be those Mandalorian episodes for sure. And then he also did the Clone Wars as well. That's insanely beloved by the Star Wars fandom, and that's actually a really fantastic show. So I think he gets Star Wars.
Yeah,
he knows what it should be, and I think he also knows what the fans want as well. That's why there's an Ahsoka TV series, and bringing all these characters from the Clone Wars into live action. That is just nostalgic for the people that watch the Clone Wars. So I think it's a great idea, and it'll be nice to finally have a clear vision, a clear story across multiple Star Wars projects for once.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement with that because I think in this case, if we want to compare it to Marvel, Kathleen Kennedy will be like Bob Iger, and then Kevin Feige will be like Dave Filoni. Not sure if that's going to translate the exact same. I don't think it will, but that's kind of how you can see it. Kathleen Kennedy is the head of Lucasfilm, oversees everything, same as Bob Iger at Disney, who own Marvel, as they own Lucasfilm as well, but hopefully Kathleen Kennedy can assign enough creative power to Filoni to guide this universe as it builds up again. And I think it truly is finding some consistency, and it's well needed because I don't know. Do you think, let's say all the Disney Plus stuff was bad, would everyone check out a Star Wars?
All the Disney Plus stuff was bad.
Yeah, Mando, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Andor, all bad.
I think they would have just gone, this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because prequel trilogies, mid. Sequel trilogies, mid. So if you have the live action stuff that was similar, it would just be like, oh, it's just another Star Wars film.
So people would be out of it, yeah.
Yeah, but because Mandalorian stuff is good, people are just like, oh shit, there is good Star Wars content out there that can, be done right.
Yeah.
So that's probably why people keep coming back. But if it was just mid, people just be, oh, this is like, I know what I'm getting. The Disney formula,
Yeah.
Star Wars formula.
Yeah. I think what I like about the new direction for Disney Plus stuff is like the focus is back on Jedis and with lightsabers and stuff like that. I think that's really the kind of the centerpiece of the entire Star Wars franchise. So I'm glad they are focusing a little bit more on that and having these shows just be a little bit more connected, I think is good as well. they're just really finding a nice balance. They haven't figured out movies yet. That's the next path moving forward. I'm still very skeptical about any Star Wars movie, and I don't know any Star Wars movie that's coming soon that has a release date. They're all just projects up in the air right now.
Tigers.
No, I will not watch Tiger. I might not even watch that movie. Depends where I am. I don't want to watch that at all. Why? You got to say stuff like that. We've seen Next Go win, so that's why I'm having a very negative response to Nan's comment. I don't like Taika Waititi as a director for a Star Wars movie. But I am excited for James Mangold's movie.
I think that concept is fantastic.
Yeah, the First Jedi.
Yeah,
and having it be like kind of like biblical and religious in that sense, I think is very interesting. And we got some comments from Daisy Ridley recently regarding her Star Wars one. She says she's excited to be back in that role and being in that movie. I think that could be very interesting. Could be good as well, depending on how they handle the character.
Yeah, I think her character in the sequel trilogy was probably the one that was the most dirtiest. She got done bad because she was
John Boyega done bad.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that she was the main character and all three films, her stories were changing.
Yeah.
Like Rise of the Jedi, The Last Jedi was supposed to be the defining moment where we actually understood who Rey was, and turns out she was a nobody. Okay, cool. And then turns out she's Palpatine's grandchild.
Oh,
in the third one, it's just like the hell.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to how there was just no clear vision. It was just Disney bought Lucasfilms and like, cool, let's pump out Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And they just did movies and without thinking about it.
Yeah. They messed it up really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. But I'm super excited for Dave Filoni to be able to be taking control of this universe, or a little bit more creative control, it seems. I really want Star Wars to get back on track. I think these Disney Plus shows are slowly killing my skepticism of Star Wars, because before I was like, Star Wars should be a very rare thing, coming once in a blue moon. You nail it, you go again. That's kind of what Star Wars is when it's at its best, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to have Star Wars regular content, it feels like Dave Filoni knows how to do that where it's satisfying to the fans. And I actually commend him for being a part of projects that lean a little bit more into fan service, because people view fan service as an awful thing. And I think it can be good if the story supports it,
Yeah.
Yeah, not forced fan service, of course. Oh. But looking forward to more Star Wars. So I'll say that very skeptically, but I am looking forward to more Star Wars. I don't know what comes out next. I think it's Andor next, man.
Is it? Season 2.
Season 2 in 2024. I know that much. I don't know what else is coming out, but very excited for Andor Season 2. I'll be watching because that's my show.
You were the one that got me into it.
Yeah, man. You're welcome, dude. I saw it and I'm like, I know who'll love this. Nayan will love it. We're going to move on now to our